Adam stepped out of the shuttle wreck slowly. Smoke drifted from the broken panels. Sparks flashed from the control board. He had barely survived the crash. The emergency beacon was damaged, and he was far from any human colony. There was no choice but to wait and hope someone would come. The planet was called Veralia. It was green, bright, and full of strange sounds. Tall trees with silver leaves swayed in the wind. Birds with bright wings flew in circles above. The air was warm and thick with the smell of flowers. Adam found a river nearby and followed it. He needed fresh water and a safe place to rest. After walking for half a day, he found a small waterfall that flowed into a clear pool. It was quiet there, surrounded by moss-covered rocks and vines. It seemed safe enough. He set up a small camp with a tent and a few supplies. Every day he gathered fruit and filtered water. He built a fire and marked the days with stones. It was a simple life, but he was alive. Unbeknownst to him, he was not alone. Hidden in the trees above, 2 sets of golden eyes watched him. The twins, Lyra and Sarai, had seen the firelight the first night. They were from a nearby tribe of Varelians. Tall and graceful, their skin was a pale violet, and their hair shimmered like glass. They moved without sound, always together. They had never seen a human before. Each day they crept closer, curious about this strange being. He looked soft and small, but he moved with careful skill. He did not destroy the land. He picked only what he needed. He spoke to the sky sometimes, or to the fire. Then came the day Adam went to bathe. The afternoon was hot. He walked to the waterfall, carrying only a small towel and soap. After checking the area, he undressed and stepped into the pool. The cold water made him shiver, but it felt good to be clean. He leaned back under the falls and closed his eyes. Lyra and Sarai watched from the rocks above. Their eyes widened. Varelians did not wear clothes often, but the human body was different, especially one part. They had never seen that before. They stared in silent surprise. Lyra leaned closer, whispering to her sister in their tongue. Sarai nodded slowly, her face unreadable. Adam turned at that moment and saw them. He froze. They froze. For a second, no one moved. Then Adam grabbed his towel and stumbled out of the water. He slipped once but caught himself. The twins vanished into the trees without a sound. His face was red with embarrassment. He muttered to himself as he dried off, avoiding the waterfall for the rest of the day. He had no idea what they had seen, or what they thought in the forest. Lyra laughed softly. Sarai didn't laugh, but she didn't look angry. They were surprised, yes, but also curious. That night, Adam sat by the fire. He looked around, feeling watched. He didn't know the twins were nearby again, watching the flickering flames with wide eyes. He didn't know that their story had just begun. The next morning, Adam woke early. He checked his supplies and looked toward the forest. His thoughts kept going back to the twins. He had seen their faces. They were not monsters. They were beautiful in a strange and alien way. He wondered if they would come back. He stayed close to the camp that day. He didn't want another surprise. The waterfall stayed quiet. No golden eyes watched from the rocks, at least not that he could see. Still, he felt their presence. Somewhere in the forest, they were there. Later in the afternoon, he found something. Near the edge of his camp, a small bundle of bright red flowers was lying on a rock. Adam bent down and picked them up. They were carefully tied with a vine. He looked around, but no one was there. It had to be from them. He smiled a little. Maybe they weren't angry. Maybe they were saying hello. He placed the flowers near his fire and waited. The next day, more gifts came. A fruit he had never seen before. A smooth stone with a glowing pattern. A carved piece of wood shaped like a bird. Adam was amazed by the detail. He left some dried fruit in return, placing it on the same rock. This went on for 3 days. Every morning, something new waited for him. The exchange became a quiet language. They were watching him, and he knew it. He began to speak aloud near the gifts. "Thank you," he said, smiling. "These are beautiful." One night, while he sat by the fire, he heard a soft sound. A footstep. He turned slowly. Lyra stood at the edge of the trees. Her skin shimmered in the firelight. She was holding a basket. Behind her, Saray stepped into view as well, silent and still. Adam stood up carefully and raised his hands. "Hello," he said softly. Lyra tilted her head and smiled. Saray's face stayed calm, but she didn't look upset. Adam pointed to the log near the fire. "You can sit, if you want." The twins looked at each other. Then Lyra walked forward, slowly, and sat on the log. Saray stayed back but watched every move. Adam didn't know what to say. He reached into his bag and pulled out a small light device. He clicked it on and off, showing how it worked. Lyra leaned forward, eyes wide. He placed it in her hand, and she smiled again. They didn't speak, not in words he could understand, but they used their hands, their faces, their eyes. They made gestures and soft sounds. Somehow it was enough got, so REI joined them after a while, bringing a strange drink in a carved cup. Adam tasted it. It was sweet and cool. He nodded, showing he liked it. The three of them sat together, watching the fire. Time passed slowly. There was no need to rush. The silence was gentle. Each night after that, they came again. Lyra was always playful, her eyes bright. Saray listened more than she spoke, always thinking. Adam grew more comfortable. The memory of the awkward moment by the waterfall faded. They taught him how to shape vines into tools, how to listen for danger in the Hindi, trees, how to tell which fruits were safe. In return, he taught them how to use simple tech. He showed them a drawing tablet. They laughed as they tried it. One evening, Lyra pointed to herself and said, "Lyra." Adam nodded. "Lyra." Then Saray said, "Saray." He smiled. "Saray." They both looked at him, waiting. "Adam," he said, touching his chest. Lyra repeated it slowly. "Ah, damn." Saray said it softer. "Adam." They were learning each other's names. After that, something changed. They were no longer strangers. They were friends. Adam began to understand small words from their language. Simple things like water, food, safe. The twins picked up more English, copying his words and trying new ones. Each day was brighter. The forest seemed less lonely. The fear was gone. One night, as they sat by the fire, Lyra touched his hand. Adam looked at her. She didn't pull away. Saray watched, calm but quiet. Adam didn't move. He just smiled. The fire crackled beside them. The stars filled the sky. And for the first time since the crash, Adam felt like maybe this world wasn't a prison. Maybe it was a beginning. Adam woke with the morning light falling across his face. The forest was quiet, only the sounds of birds calling and water moving nearby. He stepped out of his tent and stretched. A short distance away, he saw Lyra sitting on a rock, watching. The sunrise. He walked over slowly. She turned and smiled. Adam sat beside her. For a few moments, they said nothing. The peace between them needed no words. Saray appeared soon after, carrying something wrapped in leaves. She offered it to Adam. Inside were soft, sweet pieces of a fruit he had never tasted. He took one and nodded. "Good," he said, and they smiled. The twins led him on a walk that morning. They moved easily through the forest, jumping over logs and stepping through vines like it was their second nature. Adam followed, slower, but learning. They brought him to a quiet place filled with glowing blue flowers. The ground was soft, and the air had a light scent. In the middle of the field was a large flat stone. Lyra sat on it and patted the space. Beside her, Adam sat. Saray knelt on the grass near them. Lyra began drawing in the dirt with a stick. She drew a shape of her village, showing huts and a tall tree. She drew the waterfall. Then she drew Adam's tent. She connected them with lines. Then she looked up at him. He understood. They wanted him to come. Adam looked at them, unsure. "You're home?" he asked. Lyra nodded. Saray said, "Yes." He felt a mix of nervousness and excitement. He had stayed near the river since the crash. The thought of walking deeper into unknown land was not easy, but he trusted them now. He nodded slowly. Okay, I'll come. The twins smiled. They seemed pleased. The next day, Adam packed some things in a bag. Not much, just tools, a few energy bars, and the light device. He left a note near his broken shuttle in case someone came looking. They began walking before sunrise. The forest became thicker. Strange birds called out, and tall plants brushed against his arms. The path was hidden to him, but the twins knew every step. They walked all day, stopping only to rest and drink. At last, near evening, the trees opened to a wide clearing. In the center stood a cluster of tall, round shelters made from wood and woven leaves. Lights glowed inside. The village was alive. Varelians came out of their homes, tall figures with soft colors and gentle faces. They stared at Adam with wide eyes. Some whispered. Others stepped forward with interest. Lyra and Saray spoke to Anne, older female who wore beads in her hair. The woman looked at Adam for a long time, then gave a small nod. He was welcome. They gave him a place to rest in a quiet hut. It had soft bedding made of leaves and cloth. Lyra brought him warm food in a bowl. It was thick and spicy, but good. That night, Adam sat in the village circle with the others. They sang songs in a language he barely understood. They passed carved instruments around. Lyra gave him one. He tried it and made a sound like a bird's whistle. Laughter filled the air. Saray sat close, watching him with her calm eyes. Lyra danced near the fire, her feet light on the ground. The night felt like a dream. Later, in the quiet of his hut, Adam looked up at the roof. It had holes where starlight came through. He smiled. This was not what he expected when his ship crashed. He had thought he was alone. But now he was part of something strange and new. He didn't know what tomorrow would bring, but he was no longer afraid. He was learning their ways, and they were learning his. The next few days passed quickly. Adam was getting used to life in the Varelian village. He learned to sleep on saw plant beds, drink warm root tea in the mornings, and listen to the wind for signs of change. Each day brought something new. Lyra showed him how to make simple tools from stone and wood. She was fast and full of energy, always laughing, always moving. Saray was quiet but focused. She helped him understand their signs and words. Her way was calm, patient. Adam liked learning from both of them. One morning, the village leader, the elder woman with beads in her hair, called Adam to her shelter. Lyra and Saray were with him. The elder spoke slowly, and Saray translated what she could into simple words. She says you are good, Saray said. You help, you learn, you are welcome. Adam smiled and bowed his head. Thank you. Then the elder drew in the dirt between them. She made a shape like a spiral, then pointed toward the mountains. Saray looked serious. She says danger comes from the sky. We must be ready. Adam's heart skipped. From the sky? He asked. Lyra nodded. She made a sound like a ship. Adam understood. Something or someone was coming. Maybe not friendly. That evening, Adam walked alone outside the village. He looked up at the stars. Somewhere out there, Earth was far away. He wondered if a rescue team would come, or if others would come for a darker reason. When he returned to the village, he found Lyra waiting. She handed him a small object wrapped in leaves. Inside was the carved bird she had given him before, now painted with colors from forest flowers. For you, she said. Ava smiled and held it gently. Thank you, it's beautiful. Saray joined them, carrying a cloth. She opened it to show a map drawn in bright lines. It showed the village, the mountains, and a wide circle in the sky. This is where they will come, Saray said. Adam looked at the map. We have time, she nodded. Some days. They would need a plan. The next morning, Adam worked with the twins and a few other Varelians. He showed them how to build triple arms using string and metal. He placed small mirrors near the edges of the forest to reflect light and signal movement. The twins showed him where to hide, where to listen, where the land gave them the advantage. Together, they built warning systems. Lines pulled tight, sticks that cracked if stepped on, stones that rolled when disturbed. The forest became their shield. At night, the village gathered around the fire. Adam told them stories of Earth, of cities with tall buildings, of oceans that stretched forever, of machines that flew through the air. The children listened with wide eyes. The adults nodded, thoughtful. Lyra sat beside him, leaning on his shoulder. Saray sat close too, her fingers tracing lines in the dirt. Adam felt their closeness. It made the night warmer. One evening, a boy ran into the village shouting. He had seen lights in the sky. The elder called everyone together. Saray translated, "They come. Maybe soon." Adam stood. "Then we must be ready." The next day was spent in preparation. Adam helped move the youngest and oldest Virelians to safe spots deep in the forest. He placed more alarms and worked with the twins to hide the village signs. That night, they heard it. A low sound in the sky. Not like a bird or thunder. It was the hum of engines. Adam looked up and saw a dark shape moving through the stars. "They're here," he said. Lyra and Saray stood beside him, their eyes shining in the dark. The forest waited, silent, ready. Adam held the small painted bird in his pocket. He touched it and felt calm. They had come far from that day by the waterfall. Now they were not strangers. They were something more. And together, they would face whatever came next. The night was quiet, but no one in the village slept. The hum of the ship above the forest had faded, but the fear remained. Adam stood near the edge of the trees with Lyra and Saray. They waited, listening. Suddenly, a flash of light lit up the sky. The ship had landed just beyond the mountain edge. Adam knew this wasn't a rescue ship. It was something else, something dangerous. Lyra touched his arm. "Now?" she asked. Adam nodded. "Now." The twins moved quickly. They gave signals to the others hiding in the trees. Virelians took their places, each ready to protect their home. Adam climbed to a lookout post built between two trees. From there, he could see the ship, a dark metal shape with blinking lights. A ramp lowered. Figures stepped out. There were 4 of them. Humans, but not from Earth's rescue teams. These men wore dark suits and carried weapons. One held a scanner, waving it through the air. "They're looking for something," Adam said to himself. Saray climbed up beside him. "What do they want?" Adam thought for a moment. Maybe tech. Maybe to take from the land. They don't care who lives here. Lyra was below, watching with a sharp gaze. She moved like a shadow between the trees. The men walked forward, deeper, into the forest. They didn't know they were being watched. As one stepped on a hidden line, a loud crack echoed. A branch snapped back and hit him, knocking the scanner from his hand. He cursed and shouted. Adam gave a signal. The first alarm worked. Now the intruders knew they weren't alone. The men raised their weapons. "Come out now," one of them shouted. "We're here for the tech. You're hiding something." No one answered. They fired into the trees, trying to scare whoever was there, but they didn't hit anything. The Virelians stayed hidden, silent. Adam moved to another post and dropped a flash device he made. It exploded in a burst of light and sound. The men ducked, blinded for a second. That was enough. Lyra and Saray moved in, not to attack but to guide. They led the intruders deeper, into the part of the forest filled with traps, vines wrapped around legs. Pits opened beneath the leaves. One man screamed as he fell into a soft net trap. He wasn't hurt, but he was stuck. Another dropped his weapon as a branch swung into his side. The rest turned back, confused and angry. Adam stepped out at last. "Hands up! Stop!" he called. The leader pointed a weapon at him. "Who are you?" "I'm from Earth," Adam said calmly. "But I live here now. These people are peaceful. Leave them alone." "They have something," the man growled. "We track power readings. Adam reached into his pocket and pulled out a small power core. Is this what you want? Take it. And go. The man stepped forward but paused. From the trees, eyes glowed. Varelians surrounded them, holding spears and tools. Ready? You won't win here. Adam said, You're outnumbered. And you're not welcome. The man looked around. He seemed to understand. He took the power core, then nodded to his men. We leave. This place isn't worth it. They backed away, dragging the trapped man with them. Within minutes, they were gone. Silence returned to the forest. Adam let out a long breath. He turned to the twins. Lyra smiled wide. Saray gave a small nod. The village came out slowly. The elder approached Adam and touched his shoulder. Saray spoke. She says you protected us. You are one of us. Adam looked at the faces around him. He had felt like an outsider for so long. But now, he felt something else. He belonged. That night, there was a feast. The Varelians danced and sang. Lyra pulled Adam into the circle. He laughed, letting go of all the fear. Saray watched from the side, then joined them. They danced under the stars. Later, the three of them sat together near the fire. No words were needed. Adam looked at them and smiled. We make a good team. Lyra leaned against his shoulder. Saray touched his hand. In the middle of an alien world Adam had found. Something rare. Not just safety. Not just friends. He had found a new life. The sun rose gently over the forest, lighting the village in gold. The birds sang softly, and the trees swayed with the breeze. Peace had returned to Varelia. But things had changed. Adam sat with Lyra and Saray near the edge of the river. They watched the water move over the stones. The memory of the intruders was still fresh, but the fear had passed. Now there was quiet, and quiet felt good. Lyra threw small stones into the water. Each splash made her smile. Saray sat beside Adam, her hand resting lightly on his. They didn't speak much. They didn't need to. The connection between them had grown strong. Later, the elder called for Adam. He walked to her shelter and sat before her. She gave him a long look, then spoke slowly. Saray stood beside him and translated. She says you have brought change. She says you must decide. Stay with us or leave when the next ship comes. Adam was silent. He had always hoped someone from Earth would come, maybe rescue him. But now he wasn't sure if he wanted that. He looked at Saray, then at Lyra waiting outside. This place had become home. I want to stay, he said. Saray smiled and told the elder. The elder nodded. She picked up a small stone with marks on it and placed it in Adam's hand. You are one of us, Saray said. This makes it true. Adam bowed his head. Thank you. In the days that followed, Adam became more involved in the village. He helped repair homes, taught the children how to use simple tools, and learned more of the Varelian language. He and the twins spent their time exploring the forest. They showed him old paths, caves filled with glowing stones, and tall trees where birds built silver nests. One evening, they climbed to the top of a high hill. The sky was orange and red. They sat together, looking out over the land. This is your world now, Lyra said softly. Adam nodded. It feels like it. Saray looked at him. We are your family. He smiled. Yes, you are. Back in the village, a small ceremony was held. Adam stood before the fire with Lyra and Saray. On either side, the elder placed a necklace around his neck, made of forest beads and a small stone like the one she had given him before. The villagers cheered. They sang and danced. Children ran around laughing. Food was shared and stories were told. That night, Adam sat alone for a while, watching the stars. He thought about Earth, about how far away it was, about the people he left behind. But he didn't feel sad. He felt full. Lyra walked up beside him. You are thinking. He nodded. Yes, about how lucky I am. She leaned her head on his shoulder. We are lucky too. Saray joined them a moment later, wrapping a soft cloth around their shoulders. They sat together in silence. The next morning, a sound echoed through the sky. A ship. Adam stood and looked up. It was small, not like the one that had brought trouble. This one had a peaceful light. A scout ship, maybe from Earth. It hovered for a while, then sent a signal. A calm voice spoke. We see signs of life. We come in peace. If any humans are present, please respond. Adam turned to the elder. She looked at him and waited. He walked to the village's old radio. He pressed the button. This is Adam Carter. I am alive. I am safe. No rescue is needed. Thank you. There was silence. Then the voice said, Understood. Message received. We will report your status. Peace to you. The ship rose and disappeared into the sky. Adam turned back. Lyra and Sarai were waiting. He had made his choice, and he had no regrets. He was not just a visitor on Veralia anymore. He was home. The sun rose gently over the forest, lighting the village in gold. The birds sang softly, and the trees swayed with the breeze. Peace had returned to Veralia. But things had changed. Adam sat with Lyra and Sarai near the edge of the river. They watched the water move over the stones. The memory of the intruders was still fresh, but the fear had passed. Now there was quiet, and quiet felt good. Lyra threw small stones into the water. Each splash made her smile. Sarai sat beside Adam, her hand resting lightly on his. They didn't speak much. They didn't need to. The connection between them had grown strong. Later, the elder called for Adam. He walked to her shelter and sat before her. She gave him a long look, then spoke slowly. Sarai stood beside him and translated. She says you have brought change. She says you must decide. Stay with us or leave when the next ship comes. Adam was silent. He had always hoped someone from Earth would come, maybe rescue him. But now he wasn't sure if he wanted that. He looked at Sarai, then at Lyra waiting outside. This place had become home. I want to stay, he said. Sarai smiled and told the elder. The elder nodded. She picked up a small stone with marks on it and placed it in Adam's hand. You are one of us, Sarai said. This makes it true. Adam bowed his head. Thank you. In the days that followed, Adam became more involved in the village. He helped repair homes, taught the children how to use simple tools, and learned more of the Verelian language. He and the twins spent their time exploring the forest. They showed him old paths, caves filled with glowing stones, and tall trees where birds built silver nests. One evening, they climbed to the top of a high hill. The sky was orange and red. They sat together, looking out over the land. This is your world now, Lyra said softly. Adam nodded. It feels like it. Sarai looked at him. We are your family. He smiled. Yes, you are. Back in the village, a small ceremony was held. Adam stood before the fire with Lyra and Sarai. On either side, the elder placed a necklace around his neck, made of forest beads and a small stone like the one she had given him before. The villagers cheered. They sang and danced. Children ran around laughing. Food was shared and stories were told. That night, Adam sat alone for a while, watching the stars. He thought about Earth, about how far away it was, about the people he left behind. But he didn't feel sad. He felt full. Lyra walked up beside him. You are thinking. He nodded. Yes, about how lucky I am. She leaned her head on his shoulder. We are lucky too. Sarai joined them a moment later, wrapping a soft cloth around their shoulders. They sat together in silence. The next morning, a sound echoed through the sky. A ship. Adam stood and looked up. It was small, not like the one that had brought trouble. This one had a peaceful light. A scout ship, maybe from Earth. It hovered for a while, then sent a signal. A calm voice spoke. We see signs of life. We come in peace. If any humans are present, please respond. Adam turned to the elder. She looked at him and waited. He walked to the village's old radio. He pressed the button. This is Adam Carter. I am alive. I am safe. No rescue is needed. Thank you. There was silence. Then the voice said, "Understood. Message received. We will report your status. Peace to you." The ship rose and disappeared into the sky. Adam turned back. Lyra and Saray were waiting. He had made his choice, and he had no regrets. He was not just a visitor on Veralia anymore. He was home.